Welcome back everybody, MC here with another video, and today I want to show you guys how to get rid of polluted oxygen in Oxygen Not Included. Now before we begin, let me just say that you probably should have a source of oxygen already before trying to do this, because you want to have something to replace the polluted oxygen as you go. I have a self-powered oxygen machine there that I'm going to show you how to make in the future, but for now you're probably just going to be using basic ways of having oxygen. Now I'm going to just tell you straight off, just in case you know how to do this already, we're going to use deodorizers, and I'm just going to show you a little thing that I do, which is pump the polluted oxygen out of the area that you don't want it in into an area that you don't care if it's in. Now I'm going to show you how to do this a very basic way, and the reason I'm doing it a basic way is because this is for new people who are trying to learn how to deal with polluted oxygen in a basic way, and it's not the most efficient and foolproof way to do this. This is more of an early game strategy. So I'm going to fill this area up with polluted oxygen, and the reason why I'm going to do this is to show you how it works. I don't want my entire base full of polluted oxygen for this experiment, and unfortunately this polluted oxygen is going to kill all my plants. So I'm doing this for you guys. I'm probably going to have to try and revert it back to carbon dioxide in the future. This entire little room here should be carbon dioxide for the plants. So deodorizers is the first thing that we're looking at. Deodorizers help reduce polluted oxygen in areas where, as I say, there's polluted oxygen. And they use sand. Now you want your sand for later. You want sand for example, purifying water. So you don't want to use too many deodorizers all the time. So what I would do is I would put them into areas that you have polluted oxygen, let them get rid of some of the polluted oxygen or all of it, and then either turn them off or remove them temporarily, and you can turn them back on again. You don't want them to be constantly going because you don't want to run out of sand in the late game. And there's ways to get sand later on, so you don't have to worry too much, but just on a basic level, you don't want to keep running out of sand. So the deodorizers are going to remove some of the polluted oxygen from the air. Can I just say that the best way to do this is to have a base with one exit and one entrance. I actually have a base with two entrances and two exits, and I use liquid locks to stop gases from going from the outside into my base and from my base outside, which means that the chances of me getting polluted oxygen in my base is pretty low anyway. And if you want to see how to do liquid locks, I'll show you in another video. So I'm just going to let the deodorizers work away there and see if they can get rid of some of that polluted oxygen. As you can see, there's some oxygen coming out of the deodorizers as well, so they are working, but they do work very slowly. So another thing that I often do is I like to pump the polluted oxygen, or the gas that I don't want actually, so it doesn't just work with polluted oxygen. I like to pump it out of the area that I don't want it in into an area that I don't care if it's in, and sometimes I just pump it out into space so that I just get rid of it completely. So we're going to use a gas pump for this, and we're going to use gas pipes to pump it out of the area. Can I just point out, by the way, while I'm making this, while I'm wiring it up, that polluted oxygen is in fact breathable. It's not great, but it's still breathable. So it's not the most dangerous thing in the game, even though it makes it sound like it is, especially with the whole germ thing, because if the germs are high, it's going to make your dupe sick. But normal polluted oxygen isn't really going to affect you too much. Just, you do kind of want to get rid of it, of course, but it's not going to kill your dupes. Now we're going to use a little trick here where we're going to use an power-free way to filter the gas so that we keep onto our oxygen and remove the polluted oxygen. Technically in this room, I really need CO2, I need carbon dioxide, but it's fine. For now, we're just going to do it like this for an experiment. I'll fix it later so that my plants will actually grow. So you need to set yourself up like this, and you need to use automation and set the filter for the gas pipe element sensor to oxygen if you want to keep oxygen in the room and get rid of polluted oxygen. And what will happen is whenever oxygen is detected by the sensor, it'll come back out the vent and stay in the area that you're in. And we're going to use gas pipes to pump the polluted oxygen out of our base into an area that we don't care if polluted oxygen exists. And as you can see here, make sure you put your pipes and your bridges on correctly. We are now going to be pumping CO2 and polluted oxygen out of our base, and anytime oxygen passes through that sensor, it's going to be put back into the room safely, so we're not going to lose any oxygen. As you can see, the deodorizers have been working nicely as well. I only just turned the pump on, so all of this oxygen there is from the deodorizers. They're working away nicely, and now we're just pumping away all of the bad gases. You can do this with any gas, you can do this in any area. If, for example, you have a ton of bad gas that you don't want to have in your area, you just pump it out into a different area, pump it out into space. And another thing is the gas pipe element sensor. It's an electricity-free way to filter gases. Now, some people would say that it's cheating to do that. I would say it's not cheating, it's just clever. Clever is completely fine in my opinion. And we're just going to change the sensor to polluted oxygen now, so that there's more polluted oxygen in this area. We want to pretty much show you visually that the deodorizers are working. And as you can see, they are working and they're removing some of the pollution, or the polluted oxygen, I should say. We have a bit of a CO2 problem in my base. I'm going to have to fix that myself. I'll do that after this video. But I'm going to have to get rid of some of this CO2, as I mentioned. It's gathering up there in my little park area. And we are going to just give it a little bit more time. Let's see if the deodorizers can get rid of more of the polluted oxygen. And then, as I said, I'm going to fix my little farm by turning it back into a CO2 area. I don't want it to be, I don't want oxygen or polluted oxygen in there. My mushrooms need to grow, for example. And as you can see, actually, I have this little blocked off area where my farm is. Because I have it blocked off, I can keep the gas in there that I want in there. And that means whatever the plants need to grow, I can just pump it into the room. And if the pressure is high enough, then nothing else is going to be able to creep in. So if you have mushrooms, for example, that grow in carbon dioxide, you can pump carbon dioxide into the room. The gases can't move from one place to the other. And yeah, that's going to stop the other gases from corrupting your plants, like I did, unfortunately, for this video. Another little thing that you might see is I have 2 storage boxes underneath some water in there too. That's pretty useful to keep things like bleach stone from creating chlorine and other products as well that are going to produce gas if you keep them in water. So just a couple of extra little tips for you as well as we go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's video. I'll see you again in the next one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this helped you in any way. And let me know if there's anything else you're struggling with only. Don't forget, this video was mostly for new people who are just learning the basics, so it's not super efficient. That'll come later. Thank you very much one last time, and ta-ta!